So we're going to take for granted that we have some women in Parliament, and then we want to think about the institution. In the dark ages when I was at university, there was a big focus, and we used to call it the difference approach. So the kind of main theory was that, and the driver of questions was, what difference does women's difference make? And in that sense, there was a lot of emphasis on women as individuals, their difference to men, the fact that we needed to have a certain number of women, because only with that kind of numerical critical mass would you be expected to get some impact. I didn't particularly like that line of inquiry, so I took a different approach, which was, back then we called the institutional approach. And this institutional approach tends to see that women, of course, are part of a broader institution. That institutions have rules, procedures, norms, practices. That they are part of a bigger way of doing something. They have been brought into this institution, which, for the most part, historically, they have not been a part of, and are expected to conform with the kinds of institutional norms and practices that have been historically generated in their absence. The real benefit of the institutional approach is that we are starting to see a shift away from the focus on women to the focus on members of Parliament and what they might do institutionally to address things like gender equality. And we see a difference in terms of women's issues, looking at women's issues, and looking more at gender equality. Because that concept is looking at both men and women. It's looking at policies from a perspective that says, does this policy discriminate against women, men, boys, girls? Who is it looking at? So it's not just focusing on women. So the gender-sensitive parliaments idea is very firmly rooted in that institutional approach.